Morning, everyone. Welcome to the March 26, 2024 meeting of Henderson County Fiscal Court. We are glad you're with us, and for those watching online, we're glad you are joining us this morning as well. We'll begin, as we always do, with an invocation, so if you'll stand and join me in prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, please watch over this community and watch over this body as we make decisions for the good of our community. Please look over the people in this courtroom and look over the folks in Henderson County as they go about their daily lives trying to do your will. Please watch over our men and women in uniform, both here and abroad. Watch over our first responders and all those who try to make lives better for us. We say these things in Christ's name. Amen.
Amen.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Magistrate Tompkins.
Here.
Magistrate Putman.
Here.
Magistrate Starks.
Here.
Magistrate Berry.
Here.
Magistrate Southard is absent.
Gentlemen, you have in your packet the minutes of the March 12th regular fiscal court meeting and then the March 12th special called fiscal court meeting. After a period of review, I'll entertain a motion to approve those sets of minutes.
I move to approve both sets of minutes, Judge.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other corrections, clarifications, or additions? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It is Judges Scholar Day, and we have with us the Judges Scholar from Spotsville Elementary School, Naomi Liggett. And I'd like to ask Naomi to join me right here in front of the dais. All right, we're going to read the special properties.
Whereas Naomi Liggett has been chosen by Spotsville Elementary School to be the recipient of the Judges Scholar Award for exceptional efforts in both academics and school activities. And whereas Naomi's hard work and dedication in making the most of educational experiences and developing positive relationships with teachers and other students will lead to future success. And whereas success is measured many different ways, whether it be passing a test, scoring the winning point, achieving a particular goal, or taking the necessary steps for overall improvement. And whereas the Henderson County school system could not let Naomi's efforts go unnoticed, and whereas the Henderson County Fiscal Court supports the school system and acknowledges these accomplishments as being significant because students such as Naomi Liggett will be our future leaders. Now, therefore, I, Brad Schneider, County Judge Executive of Henderson, join with the Henderson County Fiscal Court to proclaim March 26, 2024, which is today, as Naomi Liggett Day here in Henderson County.
Now, if you want to hand your cameras, can you handle some pictures? Come on up. Let's get
My wife always asks me, she said, how do you miss some of those pictures on your phone? I said, I don't know, because they're always blurry.
you right balance out a bit. I got you guys. All right. Congratulations, Naomi. I know everybody at school is very proud of you, and I know your family is extremely proud of you. So you're going to spend the meeting up here with us. Introduce Mr. Gold. He does a lot of color commentary as we go along, and it's always interesting. So you are going to be going to lunch with Taylor Tompkins, a family friend.
Yep. Keith was gracious enough to let me steal them, so I appreciate that. That's
But we'll talk about that more in a bit. Congrats. And now we got to dive into the work, so buckle your seatbelt. Start off with a couple of kind of quick clerical items. Oh, we're going to start with our proclamation of Child Abuse Month, and the terrific people from the Children's Advocacy Center are with us, and I'll call up Kelsey Townsend to join us. And before we read this proclamation, anything you'd like to add?
I just want to say thank you so much. My name is Samantha Sigler. I'm the Executive Director for the Children's Advocacy Center of Green River District. I just want to thank Fiscal Court for continuing their efforts in helping us to promote and educate on Child Abuse Prevention Month, which is for the whole month of April. But we well know that it's more than just the month of April. It's all year long. And so we just appreciate your continued support and just ask that you continue that for us and keep our children in mind. We know that this is a issue that crosses all socioeconomic and cultural barriers. All children deserve a safe and happy, healthy childhood, and we know many do not. And so it takes a village, as I always say, and so we just appreciate this part of our village and just ask for that continued support.
Well, you have it, and Samantha, we really appreciate the job you've done over the years and that of your team, and I know how much you care. And if you want to introduce who's with you.
Yes, I would love to. We've got a few missing because unfortunately we have some court things going on today, so they're there with our kids and families. So I have with me Allie Skaggs, and she is our victim advocate, and she serves Henderson County. So if anybody's ever in Henderson County courts, that's who you'll see with our children there. And this is Kelsey Townsend, and she's one of our victim advocates as well. And so and she is not new to us, but she left us for a little bit and came back. So if you missed her for a minute, that's she just had to take some time off. And then this is Annette Brigden. She's our office manager and helps us to handle all the community outreach pieces as well. So
Excellent. Thank you, and thank you for being here today. So now we'll read this proclamation and hope everybody keeps in mind the important work that Children's Advocacy Center does. And as you said, it's not just this month, but it's a good reason to remind everybody. So we'll read this proclamation.
Whereas child abuse and neglect is a serious problem in our society, affecting every segment of Henderson County, and whereas our children are the most valuable resources and will shape the future of Henderson County and the Commonwealth of Kentucky, and whereas child abuse is considered one of our nation's most serious public health problems, with scientific studies documenting the link between abuse and neglect to children in a wide range of medical, emotional, physiological, and behavioral disorders. And whereas child abuse can have a long-term psychological, emotional, and physical effects that have lasting consequences for victims of abuse, every child is entitled to be loved, cared for, nurtured, feel secure, and be free from verbal, sexual, emotional, and physical abuse and neglect. And whereas it is the responsibility of every adult who comes in contact with a child to protect that child's inalienable right to safe and nurturing childhood. And whereas effective child abuse prevention programs succeed because of partnerships created between social service agencies, schools, health, community, and faith-based organizations, law enforcement agencies, businesses, and families. And whereas communities must make every effort to promote programs and activities that create strong and thriving children and families, because prevention remains the best defense for our children and families. Now therefore, I, Brad Schneider, by virtue of the authority vested in me as County Judge Executive of the County of Henderson, do hereby proclaim the month of April 2024 as Child Abuse and Neglect Prevention Month here in Henderson County.
And we'd come up and get the proclamation. Thank you. Keep up the good work. Please send our regards to the whole team. Now a couple clerical items. Basically, we appointed not too long ago Andy Rideout to the Water District Board, and as it turns out, the extension service system for which Andy works basically asked him to step down because of potential conflict of interest between working as horticulturist with the University of Kentucky and making decisions about county water. Somehow presented a conflict of interest. It was a surprise to Andy, but he kindly asked if he could step down following his employer's request. But he and I put our heads together to find a really capable replacement on that board, and that would be William Gary, who, as you know, lives down in Little Dixie and helps with the bid company formed by Susie,
Givens.
Susie Givens, Givens
Good
International.
family.
And, yeah, he's a good man, businessman down the south end of the county, and it helps us keep a nice geographical representation on the county, on that board. So I'm making the appointment. I think it'd be good to get maybe a motion and a second supporting that.
So moved.
Motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And we appreciate Mr. Gary stepping up to do that. Also in your packet is a notification by the city that they're annexing another bit of property next to the one they just bought. They actually, Kurt told me that they actually bought both properties at the same time, not realizing that the property at 2144 Old Corridon Road was still actually in the county. They thought it was in the city, so they're annexing it too, as was their intent. And they just have to notify us that they're doing that. So we get a motion acknowledging their submission of their document of intent to fiscal court.
So move.
You have a motion and a second. Any other questions about that? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, Allison Consular is with us, our very talented and diligent occupational tax administrator. I thought it'd be a good idea for her to give an update year over year on how it's going in her office. And as you know, 2015 fiscal court passed the occupational tax ordinance, and probably 2 years or 1 year after I took office, we decided to take that completely in-house and form a full-time position to oversee the application of that law. And we've had a couple really good occupational tax administrators in those seats, and Allison is the latest, and I really commend the job she's doing. Why don't you give us the latest on how things are going?
Yes, thank you for having me today. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Allison Consular. I'm the occupational tax administrator for the county. I've been in this position for a little over a year and wanted to give the court an update. I'd like to discuss what my office is doing to enforce the ordinance and what's going on in the county. First, I want to say thank you to the fiscal court for helping me and lending in an ear. That goes for Brad, Angela, Brenda, Teresa, Steve, Kyle, and especially thank you to Kurt and Shirley who help with make the deposits for the office and always have a listening ear. My office always is always enforcing somehow. For example, my office works a lot with Randy Tassa to make sure that those who are getting permits also are getting their occupational license to complete work. A large chunk of what I do is also is our software. I go through accounts and look for businesses or individuals that may owe money and get them caught up on the necessary paperwork. Always following the ordinance. I'm grateful for the foundation that my two predecessors have established in their time here. We'll continue to build on that foundation to help grow the office. This year we've undertaken getting more 1099s into the office, and that's been fun. We will also try our hardest to get out into the county and make sure those who are doing work are licensed. If not, I'm always have the paperwork and handy to educate them on the occupational ordinance. In the past year, we have seen Henderson County has grown a lot from I-69 to solar farms, not only in the industrial world, but we've also seen a lot of residential work being taken place. And as we continue to grow, we'll continue to educate businesses and individuals on the occupational ordinance. Next slide. I wanted to update on the numbers on where we are now from where we were last fiscal year around this time. The light green would be last year, and then the dark green is this year.
That's millions.
Yes, millions. Keep in mind, we still have 2 weeks to go until April 15th, so those numbers can really go up between now and then. But also, it's not all about the numbers, it's about making sure everyone is following the ordinance. I try my hardest to help educate those who may not understand and making sure everyone is compliant. And that's about all I have for all today. Have any questions?
I confer with Allison often on how it's going, and, her primary charge is to make sure the ordinance is applied fairly and consistently. And one of her primary tasks is to make sure that any businesses coming in from outside of the county to do work here follow the law, because we want to make sure everybody who does business in Henderson County has a level playing field. And I think she's doing a very good job. She has been getting out and about, and as she mentioned, a lot of construction projects going on, so a lot of subcontractors and contractors coming in from outside the community, and again, making sure those people adhere to the law just like everybody else does is important. And I appreciate the work she does. And some of the increase in revenue, although revenue is not the point, adherence is the point, but the increase in activity and economy is leading to some increased revenue. So it's very interesting to track and parallel the two. But any other questions of Allison?
No questions. I do have a comment. I had to refer somebody to her, and while nobody likes additional fees, taxes, and forms, they called me back after the fact and said that she was very helpful and actually made it a little more bearable, if you will. So,
I try to make
Yeah,
it easy
no,
and
absolutely.
simple and
Just-
try to relate to everybody.
and she did a good job. So I got some pretty positive feedback on how she educated them and they understood. So it worked out well.
For those who might not be entirely up to speed, having a business license or an occupational license in the county is cheap. It's $25, right? It basically gets you on our radar to know that you're doing business here, and almost requires you to interact with Allison's office, so we have you on file. And then employees who do work in Henderson County are charged 1% occupational tax that comes out of their paycheck. But if they don't do all their work in Henderson County, if they do only some of their work in Henderson County, they only pay that share of their work in occupational tax. The businesses themselves are charged 1% net profits tax for their profits for the year, but the first $10,000 is waived or exempted, and the cap, the most they can pay is $2,000. So in 2015, when fiscal court passed this, it was in need of revenue due to primarily the loss of coal severance funding. That was really impacting the budget and put the county in a poor position. I know that was a tough vote at the time, but more than 80 counties now have occupational taxes on the books. As counties, we don't have a lot of options when it comes to producing revenue for what we need to provide to the community. Occupational tax is one of them. So for the infrastructure and all the other services we provide that helps our economy grow and our folks get what they need, the occupational tax is helping make that happen. And the key is fair and consistent enforcement of the law, and that's what Allison does. So, thank you. Any other questions?
No, Judge, everything you said is so true, but everybody's witnessed what's happened with this windstorm. We've been blessed here in Henderson County not to have a whole lot of damage. There may be some today, I don't know. But if you knew what happened down in Dawson Springs with the influx of contractors from Tennessee to Florida to Texas that come in, and I'm a contractor here in Henderson County. I'm paying my taxes, all the fees associated. I'm insured. I'm licensed. Then here comes a guy that drives up in a truck and wanting to do work for you. That's trying to go underneath the radar. I appreciate what you're doing. I really do.
We work hard at it.
But again, when I think about those, I went to some training actually online about what happened down in western Kentucky during that storm. It was amazing how many contractors came in there. Amazing. So anyway, thank you for all you do.
Yeah, I'd like to say thanks, and I've watched you grow up, I think.
Yeah.
Our paths have crossed several different ways, but I'm so glad to have you a part of the courthouse team here. It doesn't seem like, it was like yesterday we appointed you to this position, so I appreciate the update very much and continue the good work.
Thank you, Allison. Appreciate it. Wanted to announce, after consulting individually with many of you, that we are going to make available $200,000 more in ARPA funding for local initiatives, projects, or nonprofit organizations. I'm going to be counting on the magistrates for input on good candidates for those grants. But we do need to approve $200,000 total for of ARPA funds for those sorts of activities, just to make sure that we stay on the right side of federal guidelines. So can I get a motion to approve that allocation?
So move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions? Again, I will be counting on the magistrates for input on proper places to apply those funds. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Thank you. Nick, if you want to come and talk to us about tree removal, or is it self-explanatory, Nick? We're going to be doing a lot of work removing trees from roadsides, and you'd like to maybe take that out for bid?
Yes, as y'all know, we've got a lot of trees that are real close to the road. I would like to be able to put that out for bid. So we got that $40,000 limit for one contractor to be able to do work. So way I always want to structure it is have it set up between tree sizes, like say 12 inches and below, 13 to 24, 25 to 36, that kind of thing. Make that way everybody's bid on the same thing to make it as streamless as possible. To give them the option to bid either, that way each tree could be separated and they actually have a fight in the game rather than just saying, hey, I need every tree. Because obviously a 12-inch versus a 48-inch is different. That way it helps the county out, plus it helps the contractor out, so nobody's getting the wrong end of the deal. I will make it to where the contractor's got to cut the tree and remove the tree, not just leave it on the side of the road. That way it's cleaned up, turnkey project. So leave the stump, and then we got a stump grinder that can take care of that. So that's what I'm looking to do, work with Kurt to get the solicitation out and then make that a bid item.
One of the reasons it's important, as you pointed out, is one of the biggest indicators of the severity of an automobile crash in our county is trees on the side of the road. A lot of fatalities are caused, or serious injuries are caused by vehicles simply hitting trees, collisions with trees. And the closer they are to the roadside, the more likelihood of that. And so clearing trees is an important safety feature for our communities.
Yes.
You get a motion to approve Nick taking that out to bid?
Got a quick question.
Yes, sir.
Will that be an annual, once it's bid and approved, it's for the next fiscal year, or does that, per occurrence, how is that going to be administered?
We can do it calendar year along with our material. I don't mind for that being.
The only reason I say that is if we have to come for bid every time, then how much time are we tying up when we've got a potential bad situation? For instance, Barron Church Road, where it uprooted and tore the road up, tore the culvert out. If we can't do it pretty expeditiously, then, so that's why I was suggesting if we're not considering doing it on an annual basis.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong here, Nick, but in that particular instance, our crew could, down tree, our crew could take care of that.
Yes, well, to some degree, if we got a tree that's leaning or tree that's damaged, going to come down the next storm, obviously our guys are limited on what they can do. If we don't have the means to be able to tie off a bucket truck and do the safe removal, especially if you have property alongside the road that's got a fence, got their possibility of having damage on the property, then we usually go out for a contractor to do it, again, their license, insured, and rather than our guys trying to cut a tree. Now, if it's out in the middle of nowhere that we can't cut, we'll cut, get rid of the tree. But but we have circumstances where there's emergency, we got to get the tree cut. That's what we do. The only problem I have is that at the end of the year, when our treasury pays the bills and we go to an audit, if I got more than $40,000 going towards a certain contractor, then we've violated that.
So I think we can bid it a year at a time, even if it extends over fiscal years.
Right.
Just have to account for it in the budget.
Yes.
Both fiscal years it crosses over. But, so I hope that answers your
Yeah,
question.
absolutely. I
Year
was
at a
trying to
time.
make sure we could administer it to where it was actually effective instead of having to come before us every time and say, hey, I got this job I want to do. I didn't know if that's
Yeah,
where we're
no.
going.
Yeah, and see, if we do a contract, it'd be the same thing as rock.
Yeah, okay.
I'll just push on. Once I get
That's
this,
good.
I have a bid that is approved by the court, and then whoever was the successful bidder, I'll say, hey, these are prices. That way, things can't change up for budgetary reasons.
Right.
Right.
And also, it gives the contractor, if I say, hey, I want every tree the same, now it could hurt the county or it could hurt the contractor, and I'll make everything fair, everything level playing field.
Yeah, understood.
So-
Yeah,
so-
thanks for letting me ask that question.
Move to approve.
Yeah.
You have a motion? Do we have a
I'll
second?
make a motion so I can ask a question.
I got a motion. Can I get a second? And then you can ask your question. Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just curious, are we talking about like in just certain spots, or are we going to clear cut
No,
a certain area? Or
no, we don't have the budget to clear cut. But what we're looking for is certain locations. Obviously we've got people call in who say, hey, this tree real close to the road. We're going to start prioritizing ones that are real close to the road versus ones that are in curbs. I like making sure the outside of curbs are clean. That's theoretically places where people, travel off the road. A clear zone is not a clear zone with a tree in the way. So that's obviously what we're going to tackle for first. We've been tackling slow as we go, but obviously once we get, we need to make sure we get a contract in place so it doesn't get everybody in trouble with the $40,000 limit. So we could easily hit that. I mean, well more than that for trees, but I won't be able to take down what we need and not leave a tree just because we're close to that limit. That would be nonsense. So get this in place, and then we'll be able to move forward.
And this, in some areas, could help with snow removal because
Absolutely, yeah, you get rid of the canopy, you have sunlight's the best thing.
almost a natural,
Yeah,
yes.
is the best thing for
Less salt and money spent on gas and all that kind of stuff. I know commercial tree cutters will actually cut a deal because they get to keep the wood.
And that.
Yeah, is that
see,
something we'll look at, or?
Yeah, see, that's what shows up in their bid. And that's why I do it bid sections. A 12-inch to them is only worth firewood, but a 48-inch obviously will go to a lumber mill. So that's why if I do this and make it open to the contractors, they can self-determine on what their recourse is for their waste product. So if it's smaller, that way we go 12-inch, we go 24-inch, we go 36-inch, it'll give them more of an ideal. I don't know that. We don't know that, what the market is, but they do. And that will turn around in a cheaper bid and not have to worry about, well, where does wood going to? We got to do this. It's all in them.
Thank you.
Yep.
So we have a motion and a second. Any other questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, Nick.
Yep.
At the special called meeting, we had discussion about our need to make more clear and consistent our policy on comp time and overtime, and appreciate the conversation. We, in the end, after consulting with both Angela Comer and Steve Gold and, oh gosh, I'm having another moment, Rich Ornstein at CAECO, lawyer at CAECO. We ended up, in this resolution, adopting Rich Ornstein's language. It was very detailed in the ways only lawyers can get detailed. Attempting to smooth that out a little bit, gave some pause as to how any gray areas might be interpreted. So I waved the white flag and said we will adopt Rich Ornstein's language. It's specific enough, I think, and obviously and helps answer questions there without giving too much interpretation problems to department heads. So thank you, Angela, for your work on that, and thanks for attending the workshop and talking that through. So we have a resolution adopting that language into our administrative code, and we will work with departments to come to up to speed on total number of hours of comp time acquired and versus overtime, and the mechanism for employees indicating at the beginning of each quarter whether they want to take their overtime and comp time or be paid for it. To be their choice. To the department heads, if getting this squared away so that we can move forward with this policy means helping your budgets to get some people either paid or help them avoid taking whole months off with comp time and perhaps putting your operations in jeopardy, we will work with you. So, promise that. But I think everybody had a chance to read the language. I would ask that maybe fiscal court show a little forbearance and not force Kurt to read this whole resolution. But he can if you'd like him to.
Summary's
Judge, this
good for me.
resolution,
Summary.
Judge, this resolution also makes a clarification to a change in our EAP provider
Yep.
and deletes some language that was in there from during COVID times.
Wait, we're gonna talk about that COVID policy here in a moment. But,
Well, there's two different ones.
Oh,
There's
two
this- There's this on paid vacation, then there was a separate one.
The portion that was in the administrative code.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
being
Do you want to
deleted.
read the whole resolution?
No.
Does anybody need any clarification on the resolution?
No, I read it. I'm good.
Okay. We'll read the summary.
Yep.
Okay.
Resolution adopting amendments to the County Administration Code, including the Henderson County Personnel Policy and stating the effective dates of said amendments.
If anybody has a question about particulars, please see Angela or Steve or I. Any particular technical questions, we can answer those. And I will say that our administrative code is a living document. As we see things that might need to be tweaked or changed, we can do that. And we're going to see how this works, and if in the future we see a better opportunity to meet the needs of our employees and our teams, will do it. So we have a motion and a second. Any other?
No, we don't.
No, we don't. Can I get a motion and a second?
So moved.
Second.
Now we have a motion and a second. Any other questions?
Judge, just maybe a comment.
Sure.
We had a lengthy discussion about this at that special call meeting, and I know it seemed like a lot of the other elected officials in their departments may have had questions. I guess my question is, everybody is definitely satisfied with this?
I think satisfied might not be
language?
the right word. They understand.
Okay.
And the need for consistency, and we'll work hard to make sure everybody kind of comes into alignment. I think there'll be some growing pains as they get kind of things squared away. Again, we have some employees with a lot of banked comp time. Of course, this policy limits that, so we're going to be either working with them to work off some of that comp time, which will be, kind of a pain in the neck for a while for some departments, or pay them out for that comp time, which, might stretch a budget a bit. But, so yeah, satisfied,
I used the wrong word?
but understanding. I think, and as I see nodding heads out in the.
We had a consensus.
Yeah,
Makes it fair and manageable. How about that?
we had to clarify this, and so we're doing that. So,
All right. Thank you.
thank you. Any other comments, questions? We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And speaking of COVID, back in August of 2021 to, I believe it was following some federal guideline suggestions about how to handle COVID cases among our team members, we passed a policy allowing those who tested positive to have paid leave up to a maximum of 80 hours. And those were under pandemic conditions when vaccines had not yet fully taken hold, and the understanding at the time was that the virus was much more serious then than it is now, after a period of time of both rollout of vaccines and better understanding of COVID. So we would like to rescind that policy and basically treat COVID like any other illness that might cause a employee to miss time. Again, this maximum of 80 hours paid leave just for a positive test was a reaction to the pandemic at the time. We're no longer in a pandemic. So I'd like to get a motion to rescind that policy that we made at the time.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other questions about that? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We have some surplus property being declared out of the Judicial Center and a resolution to auction that off. Any questions about that? You should see the list in your packet. We have a resolution declaring that surplus. Mr. Clerk.
A resolution declaring certain county property to be surplus and providing for the disposition thereof. Whereas the Henderson Fiscal Court is the owner of certain personal property that is no longer of use to the county, and whereas pursuant to KRS 67.0802, the Fiscal Court finds that it is in the best interest of the county to deem the property as surplus and provide for the disposition thereof. Whereas the Henderson County Fiscal Court wishes to offer said property to be sold by public auction in accordance with the law at the discretion of the Henderson County Judge Executive. Now therefore be it resolved by the Fiscal Court, County of Henderson, Kentucky as follows. Pursuant to KRS 67.0802, the personal property on the list attached hereto incorporated herein is declared to be surplus. It shall be sold at a duly advertised public or online auction pursuant to all applicable laws at such time and place in such a manner as shall be arranged by the County Judge Executive. The County Judge Executive or his designate is hereby authorized to make said arrangements.
Get
Move
a
to
motion to
accept.
approve that. We have a motion
Second.
and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We also have an opportunity as contractors for Regal build I-69. They are producing possible materials that could be of use to us, concrete, things like that. This is has precedent in the past when KYTC was working on the Audubon Parkway. There were large chunks of concrete that they were able to give us through agreement to utilize as filler for our projects, and this prospect is coming up again, and KYTC has offered these materials to us, and Nick has to sign an agreement of some sort, taking those into our possession. Nick, anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, I met with the Regal Vice President last week, and just for location, locality of our office versus 351, 2084, those kind of work, he's got a lot of waste material that we could obviously utilize on river roads, that kind of thing, if we have floods. So instead of being a waste product he's got to pay for, we get a waste product in return. One thing about that the KYTC always requires is when the property goes off-site, they need to have some type of signed document saying it's okay for KYTC property to go somewhere else. Now, Regal's a contractor; they don't own the road, so they have this project I get rid of. In return, we have to sign some type of agreement that it will come over to us. Obviously, I don't own the county, so it's got to go to fiscal court to get approval so the judge can sign this.
Have they provided a written agreement yet?
No, that would be
Okay.
me or you writing it, just it basically saying we okay the use of, they got chunk concrete, they'll have slabs of concrete, they'll have asphalt, those types of materials they can't utilize down the road on the project that we can. So we'll have the option to use those. No purchases, basically free material, and they'll just come to our property and dump, or we'll bring our own trucks back and forth.
So, fairly simple agreement, though.
Absolutely, yeah. Yep, just something written, and that we assign, and that way, all KYTC will do is just put in their records. So that way, 20 years from now, we can't, as a county, say, hey, why did you dump this stuff on us? We got approved.
We'll need to get together, assuming this is approved by the court, we'll need to get together about the details of that agreement, such as the type of material you don't want to take from
Yes,
them.
yes.
Well,
And we
I
can.
agree with
It's it's not as simple.
No,
It's
no,
just,
no,
we'll
we
take
did-
whatever
yeah,
you give
yeah,
us.
No,
Yeah.
no, we made that apparent in our meeting. Well, I did with them when we had our meeting, but this is just, the written letter to say we're okay. But yeah, we'll definitely put that in there.
Gotcha.
So if we can get a motion pending this agreement, the drafting of the agreement by County Attorney Gold and Nick Stallings. we can
I'll make a
Accept
motion
now.
pending the correct version, or verbiage there.
We have a motion and a second. Hopefully, we can use this to good effect. As I recall, before, when we had a lot of material given to us, we will utilize that in many different ways and saved us money. So that's a good deal.
Yep.
So you have a motion and a second. Any other comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Melinda Whitlock, animal control reports, please.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
Thank you for having me. Congratulations to Miss, is it Liggett? Liggett? Okay. Just wanted to cover the animal control numbers for the month of February. We did apprehend 16 at-large animals, generally dogs, all these dogs, and 14 of those were actually returned to owner, which is outstanding. It's something we haven't seen in a very
good.
long time. We still are encouraging the microchipping for said dogs that have a problem of getting out. Our animal control team is fantastic. They've been offering citations when necessary and support on, we could do this to your fence to make sure your dog stays in its area. So we've tried to go through not just a citation area, but a support, let us come and look at it. Let us come and give you, advice on how to keep your animal in. Because we do have some repeat offenders that just, and then we end up, instead of just immediately citing, we go out to their home and say, okay, well, I see this wrong with your fence. Let's improve this before we go the citation route. Trying to give a better option, better alternative. We are strictly enforcing city-county tags. They require a rabies shot. Just wanted to make sure everyone knows that, because I don't believe I said that at the last time I was here, but we do require that you get a rabies shot after your dog is returned and to you, and then they come back and get their city-county tag. It is required on every running at large charge. I do appreciate the new ordinance that you guys put out for the running at large, or the update to the ordinance. I received it from Jordan Webb. That is you guys?
It's city.
Is it city? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I don't know, are you guys aware of the updates to said ordinance?
Please brief us.
Okay. Basically, in the past, we have had care and control or leash. You have to have one or the other. The care and control has been eliminated, so it is strictly, we are a leash county now. Your dog is allowed to be on your premises, in your confined area, under your supervision, but they are not allowed to go out without the leash. So there's no more care. There is no more obedience to where you have an off-leash dog.
Off your property.
Off your property.
Yes.
Yes, off your property.
Well, there was another word there, you said under your supervision.
Supervision on your property.
Yeah, I got electric fence.
Let's see, and that is, yeah.
So that,
That is considered okay.
you won't come on my property and get my dog if I'm not out there with it.
I will not, I promise.
All right.
So yeah, on your property, can be supervised, must be confined to your property. Other than that, it is a leash, preferably no more than 6 feet. If it is retractable, we ask that you keep it at 6 feet or closer. It is all in an effort to keep the running at large, because it's such an issue here. We also have specifics about waste disposal. It must be in a fly-tight container, preferably a baggie. They're very cheap and very affordable, and those are to be disposed in trash. You cannot leave them on public property, on city property, on private property. If it is not on your property, you are to remove it and dispose it of, properly. Have a question?
Nope.
I just want to clarify, you said we're a leash-only county. The city can only pass ordinances that are effective in the city of
City,
Henderson.
These are city updates.
Would-
not out in the county.
Well, is it something you guys would be considerate doing for the county as well?
We could consider it.
Because we do have, running at large in the county, particularly in Hebbardsville and Bluff City. We tend to have to go and, get some from there quite often. I mean, if you guys are okay with the care and control in the county, it's strictly up to you.
My initial reaction is, out in the county, it's a little bit different dynamic, not as highly populated, a little bit more leeway, especially when it comes to things like hunting dogs.
That's true. That is true.
So I think a little bit more and different considerations out in rural areas.
Okay. As a city dweller, I stick to all my city ordinances, so.
Yeah.
We have a numerous amount of changes to the dog park, which was very much needed. It includes acknowledging that you're responsible for your dog's actions, you're responsible for the cleanliness of the park, no outside food or drinks, the park's operation hours. And then when it comes to us, it requires that in-county tags along with the rabies shot for every animal inside the park. And that's something that we have been patrolling on every day. There are two major dog parks here. One is at the Newman Community Park, and the other one is at the Red Banks Park. And so every day since we received this ordinance change from the city, which was last week, we have had officers go once, twice a day just to patrol the area. We have the support of Jordan Webb. She's also going to help us out if we have anything that we need to come and check. They will call us, and we will go and make sure everything is in order there. There's also, of course, at the dog park, the leash compliance is there. No squeaky toys, no aggressive behavior, no choke, prong, pinch, or spike collars permitted. They want food to be kept at a limit. Basically, it's to contain any aggressive situations that might come up at the park, which apparently has been an issue in the past. And I have reached out to the Parks Department to let us know if there's anything we can do to support them, if there's any certain time we need to come by, just to try to touch base with them to let them know that we're there to implement anything that needs to be worked on. I believe that's all I have. Will I have any questions for me?
Let me see if I got this right. I've never been to the dog park,
Haven't either.
mainly because I don't know if these dogs are all vaccinated or if they're, so I kind of keep mine around the house and where I can go, and lead them to. But how, just curious, are they utilized that much?
My understanding is the dog parks are utilized.
I mean, it's not relevant to us necessarily.
It's
just
not, but I
this
wanted-
is me personally asking.
Right. I wanted to make
Utilization.
you guys aware of the changes. That way, I can report to you and let you know what's going on in the city, because I don't know if you guys convene very often or if you discuss this at all. But basically, we will patrol by and make sure everyone in the dog park or that is planning to go into the dog park follows all the ordinances that have been changed or updated. So everyone will have to have their shots. They will have to have their city-county tags. And in order to get your city-county tag, you would have to have the rabies shot. So it will enforce those tags even more so.
I'm more concerned about the time. How much time do you guys patrol that, or is it necessary as a utilization to the point, there's numerous people with dogs out there, and is it time well spent, I guess is my question.
Generally, I ask them to go and drive by the dog park.
Just a drive-by?
Yes,
Oh.
yes. And if there's people there, they will stop, they will chat with them, because we're trying to develop a reputation that we're not here after your dog, we're just here to enforce any laws that have been presented.
Right.
So we have been trying to track when the best time is to go by, but generally when the officer goes out on a call, I will say, well, if you have time, go by the dog park. That way we're going at least once or twice a day while we're already out.
Do you have calls from people that's actually there with complaints?
We do.
Okay,
We
thank
do.
you.
Yes,
Thank you.
absolutely. Does anyone else have any questions?
Just I would say, as you move forward, since there are differences between the city and county ordinances, please make sure that your animal control officers are only citing the city violations within the city limits of Henderson. And when it's outside the city limits of Henderson, they need to be looking at the Henderson County Code of Ordinances.
Absolutely. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Next, I'll call up Jailer Todd. You have his report in your packets, and I'll let him add any other items.
Morning.
Morning, Jailer.
Naomi, congratulations. I was going to say, despite your dad, you've flourished and succeeded, but he left. So
He just left.
you got a great family, and we attend church together. So you can see a report today. We got 181 feds and 109 state and 161 counties. You can see some of our physical conditions of the facility. We've sat down and kind of went over, so we looked at some of that past. Any questions?
I just had one. I
Yes,
know
sir.
we were using the body scanner and stuff already. It seems like it's going well. Have we got the protocols or rules, however, I can't remember exactly how it was
Procedures.
phrased. Yes, the procedures.
Have y'all got a copy of that yet? We just, I've got a
And
copy.
I can come by and get it. I need to come by and check it out
I'll email
anyway.
it. I'll email it. We got it.
Okay.
I was off yesterday, and I saw where they put out a final draft of it.
Okay.
So I'll.
Yeah, I was just curious because I knew it'd been installed and just seeing on how it's going. Thank you,
I'll
sir.
have that emailed today.
Appreciate you.
The list here of physical needs for the capital necessities, you got kind of developing a strategy on how
Yes,
to
sir.
tackle
We'll
those?
sit down and look at, prioritize them, and I know we need to do the shires, and state inspectors have mentioned that a couple of times, so
Yeah.
we'll begin looking at those.
I will say, Jailer Todd's doing a very good job of riding the
Agreed.
financial ship, as well as, I think, the personnel challenges we've had over the last several years. Turnover's way down. As of today, the jail is in the black for the year, if I'm not mistaken.
Wow.
And it's a great reversal of that trend. And I know that some of these big-ticket items on this list,
Yeah,
you know,
well,
they may impact the ultimate financial performance, but just the fact that we're back to where we're very close to paying, the jail's close to paying for itself is a huge blessing. Many jails across the state are closing because counties can't afford them. We're blessed that we don't have that situation.
great, yeah, no. Kudos to the crew, to the staff, and Lori, and all them. So, we
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank
Great
you.
work. We appreciate you,
Yeah.
Jailer.
One thing, before Melinda left, I meant to mention to Fiscal Court is that Stacy McCord Crooks, board chair, had mentioned to me a month ago that they're in need of a new truck. They have two vehicles at Animal Control. One is a larger truck with a large box in the back for animals they pick up. Another one is a small two-seater twin cab, I guess, with a very small box in the back that really is inadequate. She said they can only pick up cats and rabbits in that thing, as a joke. But they need another full-size truck with a full-size box. Am I characterizing that correctly? So as we explore this, they've identified one for under $40,000. Not commit yet to doing that, but I can see the need. They have this smaller truck. I've asked Nick Stallings to go by, check it out, see if it's a vehicle that he could use for his purposes. Maybe if the answer is no, we could, if the jail wanted to come by and look at this truck, it could be of use. We could take that, maybe prevent us from having to buy a vehicle in the near future, and then consider acquiring this new truck, larger truck with a larger box for animal control. Just want to throw that out there. It's something we're talking about, and I'll be bringing back to you depending on some things, including whether we can use that smaller truck. If we can't at all, that truck could be used to trade in and then reduce the cost of the new truck. So just FYI, we're having discussions about that. Am I characterize that correctly, Melinda? Okay. County Clerk, Renee Abner.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
I just want to congratulate Naomi. That's so awesome. I'm so proud of you. I'm not surprised, though, because your family is, I know them, and they are very supportive of you, and I know you're all just so excited today, so very proud of you. Congratulations. So today I have payments to the county for February 2024, in excess fees in the amount of $119,764.39, with a total remitted of $168,253.39. And that's up about $31,000 from February of 2023. So things are going well in the office. You all know we've had the upgrade in January of the CAVIS system that caused us a little bit of heartburn, a lot of heartburn, if I'm going to be honest. And the customers coming in have experienced longer wait times and different transactions that we couldn't process. Those, I'm happy to say, are very few and far between now. The state programming has come a long way, and we've received lots of updates and fixes for problems that we've had. So things are turning around, I'm happy to say. So very appreciative of the patience of everyone in the county and all the support we've received. So things are looking up.
Did a really good job of communicating the challenges and reminding people that this was a state issue, and
Right.
you were doing the best you could. I never heard any complaints up at my office, and usually we're the catch-all for just about any complaint that comes in. So I think people are understanding, and so kudos to your team for helping, mitigate the frustrations and doing the best they could.
Yeah, they did a wonderful job, so I appreciate
I agree.
them
I
so,
can-
so much.
I can attest to it personally because I had a situation that was caused not by your department, but they helped work through it, and I wasn't even there very long. They said, hey, if you got a few minutes to go do what you got to do, came back and it was resolved, and their willingness to think outside the box and adapt on the fly was impressive to me, so I appreciate them for sure.
Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's been the sentiment of a lot of people. I've received little thank you notes from individuals just saying, hey, I appreciate what you're going through, and, it's been wonderful. So I have to thank the community and you all too. I know you've helped spread the word for us, so I appreciate that. The courthouse is going to be closed this Friday in observance of Good Friday, so I just wanted to kind of...
The whole courthouse.
The whole courthouse, yes, is going to be closed, so, does anybody have any questions?
Judge, I move to accept.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you.
Can I say something just about elections really quick? I know, it doesn't seem like it's that time of year to talk about it, but it actually is. So we are, April the 6th is when we start accepting applications, mail-in applications through our portal in order to receive a mail-in ballot if you want, and that goes for a month, so we have several days of that. And then April 22nd is the last day to register to vote, so.
And the primary is on?
The primary is on May 21st, so just wanted to give those little reminders. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Gold, your report.
Naomi, I've got to apologize. Normally, when I've got a judge's scholars here, I've got a lot of money to hand to them to give to the judge. Today, I have one check in the whopping amount of $20.22. And this does bring the fiscal year total to date to $142,014.04. So yes, one $20.22 check of interest, Judge.
Relay it to me. Make sure I get that $20 from you. Thank you.
Now the county's going to be able to make payroll.
I can't remember the last time one of your short months fell on a Judge's Scholar Day. Usually he hands you thousands of dollars if you're a Judge's Scholar, and relay it to me. It's quite a thrill, trust me. That, not so much, right there. But thank you, Steve. Brenda Ryder.
Move to accept.
No.
Motion, do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Brenda Ryder.
You have received a copy of the transfers, and they are as presented. This is redistributing appropriations among the existing budget. There are a couple of them that are identified as specific purposes, and the other ones are projections for the remainder of the fiscal year.
Any questions on the transfers?
I move to accept.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
You have received your bank balances, and after paying claims today, your day-to-day appropriation lines should be at approximately 75%. I do have 2 additional claims from general fund to AT&T, $1,250.72. This is for the sheriff's wireless phones and is to come from the sheriff's telephone appropriation line. From the jail fund to Republic Services, $784.13. This is for monthly service and is to come from the contracted services other appropriation line.
One note about the appropriations for the year. General fund expenditures are at 60%. You heard Brenda say that they should be at about 75%,
Yes, sir.
so a little over 61% so far, and I think the jail fund and road fund are still approximately those same percentages.
Yes.
So the department heads are doing a really good job of holding the line and being smart with their money, so that is great to see. As we get towards the end of the year, some of that will grow a little bit, but to be at 10% under here with the last quarter in front of us is pretty good.
Pretty solid.
Yeah. We had a Finance Committee meeting yesterday. Butch, anything you want to share, any more thoughts?
No, just kudos to everybody for doing a great job, Judge. It's,
Yeah. Yeah,
be
they've been
that-
really diligent.
Be under 10% of where we actually projected we should be is a pretty big deal. Everybody doing a great job. Was there any more claims, Brenda?
Just,
We done?
no, just the
I
2.
move to pay the claims.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. Any other questions about claims? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you.
Thank you, Brittany.
Anybody in the courtroom who would like to come up and speak for good of the county? Hearing none. Master Tompkins, anything for good of the county?
I would just like to congratulate Miss Naomi over there. It's, the word impressive is not the right one to come up with, but I can't think of anything better right now. So to be a leader and singled out amongst your peers for exceptional reasons, your behavior, your performance, things like that means you do the right thing when nobody's watching. And that's really where you can define yourself. Continue to do those things, and I expect the sky to be the limit. I know you've got a wonderful family to support you, but that does not exclude you from having to do the hard work. So kudos to you. We're proud of you, and I look forward to taking you to lunch, and thank you, Magistrate Barry, for allowing me to do so. Other than that, I think District 2, we're pretty good, Judge. Thanks.
Thank you. Magistrate Putman?
Yeah, thank you, Judge. I think Magistrate Tompkins kind of hit the nail on the head. We spoke before the court, and I kind of said the same thing he said in the beginning. It's a pretty big honor. I know it's a real, it all starts at home, you know, and you've got an amazing family, it appears. So again, I would encourage you to continue on, keep doing on what you've been doing. So you'll be very successful in life, I'm sure. So congratulations, Naomi. I'd like to just say thank you to the Children's Advocacy Group that's here today and all that you do. You hear how we honor some of the youth of our county, and we hope that some of this kind of bleeds over to a lot of children. So a lot of this it's silent abuse. I mean, so it's, you don't hear about it till it's gone too far. But thank you so much for all you do. And again, Judge, all is good in the fourth. Thank you.
Mr. Gold.
Well, congratulations again. We've had fun here. She's paying attention and paid attention a lot more than a whole lot of the judges, scholars that we've had. Because, as I say, a lot of what we do it goes in the category of boring but important. And we had a little bit of that today, but we had a lot of really important stuff. And congratulations. Today's a holiday, right? It is your day. It's named after you. It is a holiday in Henderson, Kentucky. Nobody else can say that. So congratulations, and I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you make the best out of your future. I know you've got a very bright future ahead of you, and like they said, put that work in, and you're going to do great things in this world. I can tell. Do want to also talk just in general about the way this fiscal court and this community comes together for children. What the Child Advocacy Center does is amazing work. It is sometimes heartbreaking work. Typically what I'm seeing is that I'm watching forensic interviews that they've done with children that have been sexually abused, things like that. It's heartbreaking to see that, but to see those children being dealt with by people that care and are compassionate and are doing everything they can do to provide those services is a really big deal. Also want to recognize we have a representative from CASA with us here. Again, we've got so many organizations in this community that are trying to do what they can, everything they can do to help those kids that are not having the brightest childhood. They're trying to be a ray of sunshine into their lives, and that's a huge deal. So thank you for what you do. Other than that, things are good in the county attorney's office, and just again, celebrate your day. Go out and since Magistrate Tompkins is paying, get extra dessert, get a couple of take home for dinner, whatever. Just kidding.
Mom's making dinner plans now. Thank you.
Master Berry.
Thank you, Judge. And another thing too, Naomi, you got to eat for me too, because he took my lunch. So eat double. And I eat a lot, so you eat plenty, okay? Where are you going for lunch?
I'm thinking of Cracker Barrel.
Cracker Barrel. There we go. All right. There we go. Yeah. Just remember, there's a test on all the stuff we talked about today before you get to eat. Did they tell you that? Steve is supposed to tell you that. No, I'm teasing. I say that every time. I'm teasing, but congratulations to you. Congratulations, family. I know she's got a good family. You're going to do well. You're going to do well. It's your day. Have fun. Enjoy it. Samantha, you and your team, CASA, everybody, I know the children, the work you do is priceless. It is, and y'all do good work. I know you do. All the department heads, good job, budget-wise and all that. Y'all do a good job. We know that. And Nick, I've worried you to death, I think, over the road, the Green River Road thing, but it's not over yet. So I may have to worry you some more, but thank you for all the work you're doing on that. Yeah. So with that, Judge, I think we're good in District 1, except the road fell in the river. We'll get that worked out. So thank you.
Master Starks. Thank you so much, Judge. Thank everybody for being here. And I think I've noticed, Naomi, your cheeks getting even redder than what they normally are. Yeah, I think it really went into overdrive there. But thanks for being with us today. It's a pleasure having you here. It's been actually an honor for me to work with a lot of folks that had actually gone to Spotsville Elementary School and gone on to great things. And I foresee that same thing for you. We actually lovingly refer to it as Spotsville University. And I know all our schools strive for excellence, but I think there's something actually even a little bit more extra special out there in your neck of the woods. So keep it up, and look forward to even more great things. And enjoy your day, enjoy your lunch. And yeah, eat for Keith, because he's wasting away here. Real quick, I just was going to say also a big thanks to those who work hard, and that includes our law enforcement, because they're usually right there at the first of a case. when something does come out, but all those who go up the extra mile to protect our children and then to guide them through the whole process. Oftentimes it does has to end up across the street and then even further beyond that with counseling and things like that. So, and I was going to mention, please consider being a CASA volunteer, being in the radio world for as long as I was, had a great chance to learn more about that program, and they're always looking for help. So if you have a desire to really help a child, being a CASA volunteer would be a great way to do that. Just want to say Happy Easter, everybody, and Good Friday coming up with the courthouse being closed. I think the courthouse will also have some altered hours maybe on Eclipse Day or not.
I'll talk about that in a second.
Okay, I'll leave that to you. Spring is here. That means Tri-Fest not too far away, so looking forward to that. And I know a lot of other folks are. And I think with that, all is good in the 5th.
Thank you. Naomi, congratulations again. You did a good job up here. As Mr. Gold mentioned, boring but important. We have to handle it all, and it was a wide gamut of things today. So kind of get a feel for, we handle everything under the sun sometimes during the course of a meeting. But congrats to the family. Great job. I always love having the judges, scholars up here next to us, and try to keep one ear on what Mr. Gold is saying to make sure that not making any jokes at my expense. I don't think I heard any, but yeah. But I appreciate you kind of filling in some of the blank spots as we go, because I think it makes the experience more enjoyable for our judges, scholars. So was he interesting, or was he just bothering you? Okay, good deal. Just checking. So congratulations.
Explaining why we're bidding out tree removal isn't the most interesting thing in the world, but it
you can do it
provides some
concisely,
context
yeah.
to why we're doing that.
No, yeah, that's good. Yeah. So we're about to hit deep into budgeting season for next fiscal year, and I wanted to give Fiscal Court a quick update on kind of my plans. For the new members of the court, you went through this for the first time last year, and it was just months into your first year of the term, so I knew it kind of was a whirlwind. But now that you've done it 1 year, you kind of understand how the work flows. I would propose again, I'm going to get a draft budget together, working with our department heads and looking over this year's performance, spending the month of April, kind of putting together a starting point, and then we will have hopefully a workshop targeted for early May, and kind of take the initial draft that I throw out there and work off that, get your opinions, get the department heads to maybe drill down a little bit even more, come up with a document that we kind of agree on, and then with the new United Way vetting process, hopefully finish towards the end of May, but before the last fiscal court meeting in May, what our choices are going to be for delineating those contributions to nonprofits, enabling us, and that may require a quick special called meeting right after that. Those recommendations are submitted to us to again nail down enough of a budget to have a first reading at the second meeting in May. That's a goal. It's not a requirement, but the only requirement we have is to have a budget approved by the very end of the last day of June. I try to make it so we don't have to have last-minute special called meetings. Sometimes it's necessary because questions arise right up until the end, but my goal is to have a budget approved by the last regular meeting in June, and our work will be done. So hopefully, by May 1 is when I'm required statutorily to provide you a draft budget, provide you my budget. You'll have it before then or by then at the least, and we'll go into that first budget workshop in early May. Sound good?
Sounds good.
Sound good. And again, in preparing that budget, I'm not dictating what we do. I'm merely, it's a starting point for the conversation and to take care of some of the details so you don't have to. We can dive right into just exactly what we want to do as we finish the budget. We will not be meeting again before the eclipse. It will have come and gone, and I want you to know that county law enforcement, first responders, other necessary entities have been all meeting to plan. There's going to be another meeting coming up this week to plan and solidify some details about how we're going to handle what we believe will be a fairly sizable influx of traffic through the community. We don't know how many people will actually stop to enjoy the eclipse here, but we can almost guarantee there will be many, many people going through our community. And on the county side, I know Chip Stauffer is part and parcel to every bit of the law enforcement plan for that day and traffic control that day, and our deputies will be in full force as much as possible to help keep things smooth. And one of the primary concerns is the bridges, so Kentucky Transportation Cabinet is really focusing hard on making a plan and putting pieces in place to clear off traffic if we have fender benders and to keep that traffic flowing on those bridges. So light a candle in church this Sunday for those plans. The county's parks will be open that day for people who want to utilize them to view the eclipse. I know that there are also some private businesses who are opening up their parking lots and their free spaces for people who want to stay and watch the eclipse here. We will not be allowing overnight stays in the parks. We don't have, I think Sheriff Stauffer can attribute this, we don't have the manpower to monitor those things overnight and make sure people stay safe, so we won't be allowing overnight stays, but the day of, people can certainly take advantage of the parks. Anything you'd like to add, Sheriff Stauffer, to those preparations?
No, sir, just so the court knows that there's going to be a trooper on the north side of the bridge with the wrecker, and there's going to be a deputy on the south side of the bridge with the wrecker, so, the thought is we can keep the bridges open. Now, again, in 2017, one of the things that a lot of people fail to recall was there was bridge construction. We were down into one lane on the bridges, so we're hoping that, we know that there's going to be an influx, but we're hoping that all four lanes are moving north and south.
For those of you who couldn't hear because Mike wasn't close, we're going to have law enforcement and wrecker station on either side of the bridges. This time around, we'll have all the lanes open on the bridges. There'll be 4 lanes through the construction on the 41 bypass now. There'll still be 2 lanes either way, so that'll help. And fingers crossed, do the best we can. I hope everybody is patient. On April 4th, I want to extend an invitation to fiscal court members. On April 4th, we are hosting the Volunteer Fire Department Chiefs meeting that evening, 6:30. We're actually going to have it at the city's Public Works building out in Henderson City Park, the City Industrial Park, if you know where that is. But entities take turns hosting, and I volunteered us this time around, so we'll be providing a meal. But that will be the first meeting for the chiefs after our allocation of $600,000 to those departments, and it might be good to be on hand to hear, what they plan to do with that money or any questions they might have, and hopefully to accept some thank yous from them. So again, that's April 4th, 6:30 at the city's Public Works building. That space works better than this fiscal court room for dinner because you don't want to have everybody with their plates in their laps, if you can help it. So with that,
Judge, if I may,
Yes,
on
sir.
the eclipse issue, I did just want to note the Henderson Judicial Center is closed April 8th,
okay.
just for anybody listening.
The courthouse will be open. The clerk's office is going to close at noon that day, but the rest of the courthouse will be open. So if you need to do business with the county clerk that day, please do it before noon. And we have eclipse glasses for all our team members. Bruce, if you don't forget, you have some here. Anybody else from the county team need eclipse glasses, let me know. All right, that's all I have. Entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor can leave.